Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here. I see some familiar faces. I see some new ones. As you all know, we are here because cardboard Kiggans is the best we can do right now while Jen Kiggans continues to hide from her constituents. And we are here to hear everybody's stories. The last time I saw some of you, we were waiting on the budget to be voted on, and we had heard a lot of lip service, read a lot of letters. Representative Kiggans loves a letter, loves to tell us that she cares about things and then votes against them. Anybody here on Medicaid? Anybody here on Social Security? Oh, okay, well that's great. We've got a guy here who knows a lot about Social Security, but before we bring him up, we're going to hear from a couple other speakers. We're going to start with local delegate Convirs-Fowler, followed by Angel Pye from the SEIU, and then Magnus Pope from LCV. So Delegate Convirs-Fowler, if you could make it up.
Okay, so from a school teacher, I will still never get used to doing this. You probably can't see me very well. I wish I didn't have to be in front of the mic, but I do. So, hello, I'm Delegate Kelly Convirs-Fowler. Been in General Assembly since 2018. For that first week. Thank you. I would like to say, first of all, that I have personally worked with our Congresswoman Kiggans. And I will tell you a quick story about when we tried to do judge interviews, because that is our job as a legislature, to put up judges and vote on those judges. And when we were in the majority in 2020, when we had the first female Speaker of the House, we were in charge. So I took it upon myself, only been there a few years, Delegate Nancy Guy and I, she had the experience as an attorney, and I said, let's get these judge interviews together for the Senate and for the House, for Virginia Beach's judges. Let's do it. We did it. We had packets. We had everything ready. We invited everybody. The lawyers were there that wanted to be judges or judges that needed to be elevated. And I will tell you that Kiggans was not there, and she was the senator in Virginia Beach at the time. And I will tell you that I did text with her that morning, and she was at a CRT rally in town center. So she's not just not showing up now. She's a track record of not showing up for us. So I want to talk about what she's actually doing that's making it very hard in Virginia. She's not helping us at all. She is actually hurting us. The risk, my mother lives with me. She has Social Security, Medicaid. She is struggling, and she's very worried. The anxiety is making her more sick with her autoimmune. And I have to say that it makes me very upset to have to not have answers. So my job at the state, as a Virginia legislator, is to come up with solutions that are going to protect us from the lack of action of Congresswoman Kiggans. So some of the things that we're going to have to do are going to, maybe sound wild, right? But let's tax the billionaires in a proper bracket. What do y'all think about that? Get them fair. Because what's really going to happen is what? Our education funding, as a former teacher, I'm worried. I have 3 kids in school. I have a kindergartner, my pandemic kindergartner. We wonder what that's going to be like in this new class. All those teachers, my heart goes to you. But I got a middle schooler and I got a high schooler. So we're thinking, how is this going to affect my children that go to the same schools my husband and I grew up in this district in? And as a member of the education committee, and a subcommittee chair of the Early Childhood Education Committee. I have a master's in education. My skills are being utilized in the General Assembly. But we have to protect ourselves. That's going to mean money. That is going to mean money. Because Kiggans is not going to protect us and our children, we're going to have to at the state level. And that's where I need you guys to be there and show up and know how important this is. So I don't think I have enough time to talk any more about this. I would love to, but you could find me online, or we can I've seen so many of you at events, but we need to make this Congresswoman accountable. She has not been for several years, ever in her political career. Would that be accurate? Yeah. Probably.
Exactly.
So let's send her home next year and make sure we protect ourselves as Virginians. So thank you for letting me speak.
Next, we've got Angel Pie from the SEIU. He's going to talk about what's happening with workers. There's been a lot happening in Hampton Roads.
Good afternoon, everyone. And as you stated, my name is Angel Pye, and I am a member of SEIU Home Care Division. And I'm here today because I don't think that our current administration understands what they are doing to the workforce of America.
They don't care.
Hypocrisy.
They don't care.
They don't.
They know exactly what they're doing.
And that is why each and every one of us are here. Plutocracy is a government by the wealthy. In 2018, Paul Volcker, the former chair of the Federal Reserve, he stated that the wealthy and the elite or ruling class of people whose power derives from their wealth, we are now moving into that government. That was in 2018. And look at what we see in this three-ring circus called the government now. The elite and the wealthy are making decisions about the lives of us, our children, our elders. 4.6 million adults are on Medicaid, and they work. They are the working poor. Do you understand that statement? You are working 2 and 3 jobs, living in your car or living in your parents' basement to be poor, and now you're telling me that I can no longer have health care. I will no longer be able to feed my family. 7.2 million elderly are on Medicaid, and that number is growing. And we have a home care shortage of workers. Right now, as we speak, people are being put out of residential facilities, and they may have to go to direct care, which is funded by Medicaid. They won't be able to have those services. We as a people, because remember what our Constitution says, we are a government by the people, for the people. This is our government. And I thank you for not idly standing by and let it be ripped from us. Each and every one of us have come from a different path in a different place. Some voluntarily and some involuntarily. But we are here. This is our land. This is where we fought for. This is what we wake up every day to create a better place for our children. Dr. Henrik Clark, he said, history is a clock that tells people their political and cultural time of day. It is also a compass that people use to find themselves on the map of human geography. History tells us where and what we have done and where we must go. Where are we taking our country from this moment on? What is the cultural and political stand that we are going to take so when our children look back at this place in time, they can say, this is what they did to secure our future. This is what they did to secure our safety and our sanctity. What will we do when we leave this room today to solidify our place in this thing called history? Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Magnus Pope. I'm a field organizer with Climate Action Virginia /LCV, the League of Conservation Workers. And I'm here today to just talk my piece at our cardboard Kiggans. So without further ado. Earlier this year, Congresswoman Kiggans of the 2nd District told us she supported offshore wind, clean energy jobs, the importance of protecting our energy security in the region, and how much clean energy tax incentives would help the Tidewater economy, including families and small businesses. Even getting as close as signing a letter warning Congress that cutting clean energy would hurt Virginia Beach and delay the coastal offshore wind project. So why would she vote against them? Clean energy can be built out at half the cost per megawatt of coal and gas plants, with Virginia Beach coastline being the only place for a large-scale offshore wind project to power Virginia. So why vote against that? To shoulder energy needs to rural parts of your district so your constituents in Suffolk and Chesapeake can keep dealing with air pollution from gas infrastructure? Jen, when are you going to stop talking about how good clean energy is for District 2 and start putting your votes where your mouth is? Saying one thing and doing another not only hurts you, but it puts our local economy, our climate goals, and our communities at risk. This is a stark betrayal of working people and verbal climate commitments, and we deserve leaders who not only talk about clean energy, but also vote for it. Congresswoman Kiggans had a chance to stand strong with her constituents and chose political pressure over people. So as organizers, voters, and community leaders, we must hold her accountable as we are doing today. Climate action is not a buzzword, but a responsibility we all must take on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Magnus and Angel. Our next guest is who you've all been waiting for. He's the former governor of Maryland and the former commissioner of the Social Security Administration. And some of you, I think all of you, maybe a lot of you raised your hands earlier. And we've seen what they've done to Medicaid. We've seen what they've done with all of our social programming. We know that Social Security is next. And Governor Martin O'Malley is here to talk about it. Everybody, clap your hands.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. How are you, Virginia Beach? Fired up? Ready to go? Yeah. All right, let's all join hands here at New Jerusalem Church. I want to thank our hosts at New Jerusalem for opening up this beautiful place for us. Big round of applause for New Jerusalem. You see before me a New Jerusalem and all of you. So it's a great honor to be here with all of you. My name is Martin O'Malley. Most recently, I had the honor to lead the hardworking men and women of the Social Security Administration. And when I received that call, it was not because the agency was all hunky-dory and doing really well. The truth is, 10 years of Republican insistence that the agency be level funded meant that their staffing had been reduced to a 50-year low, even as people of my generation, us baby boomers, and I know all of you are younger than me, but even as us baby boomers swelled the ranks to an all-time high. But those men and women of Social Security sprinted up that downward moving escalator so that every service delivery metric, except for one, they made to move in a better direction. A wait time that was on average 42.5 minutes on that 800 number, they got that down to a 12.8 minute speed to answer by October. more people now dying waiting for their initial disability determinations than at any time since Dwight Eisenhower, Republican president, by the way, signed that into law and expanded the program, and they were able to take that 10-year growing backlog and make it start moving in a more in a speedier direction, so that people who worked hard and earned their benefits would be able to actually receive a decision. I feel so locked in here by this podium. You don't mind if I move around, do you? You're not going to? Okay. All right. So let me do a few things here in short order because I do want to get into some question and answer. But there has been so much said about Social Security, big lies that have been told of late. And so I think it's, I want to do a few things here. I want to arm you. I think you came not just to be in communion with one another, as we Catholics say, which is a good thing, but you also came here, I hope, so that you could be armed with the truth, empowered, let's say instead, empowered with the truth, so you can go back to your own tables of democracy, whether it's in your home or at your workplace, or with your brother-in-law, God bless his heart, who only listens to the Fox. And actually be able to engage in an intelligent way and knock down some of these big lies. Because the truth of the matter is that the problems facing Social Security, whether we want to talk about the long-term, financial, fiscal well-being of the program for the next 75 years, or the more acute and immediate customer service crisis, which is threatening right now, all beneficiaries with the very real likelihood of a benefit interruption. Both of those problems are totally solvable problems. And I hope when we leave here today, you'll have a better understanding as to why that is. And if I say anything here as I try to talk fast, that you want to check out, you can go to, I have a website called Win Back Our Country, or if you Google Martin O'Malley Social Security, it'll probably take you to that. And I've laid out in plain language with sites and authorities the rebuttals to all of the big lies that are told. So I also want to acknowledge that while Congresswoman Kiggans could not be here, she sent her staffer, Jordan Familiant, who's here in the back row. And so he's joined us. So Jordan, thank you for being here. Let me go. Let me go through a few things. Some of you may have read recently. Our former co-president Elon Musk, in his in a Joe Rogan interview, actually said that he believes that empathy is the greatest weakness in the Western mind. He actually said that and believes it. You and I believe differently. You and I are part of a living, breathing, self-creating mystery called the United States of America. And the heart of that mystery is actually a very, very powerful truth. The truth that we need each other, that we are one, and that we have to help each other if we are going to succeed. And there is no act that better demonstrates that we, the people, have ever put into law that more clearly demonstrates that than Social Security. For 90 years, Social Security has never missed a monthly payment. And because we believe that we're all in this together, yes, we feed the hungry. We heal the sick. We care for widows and orphans, those in the dawn of life and those in the dusk of life. Every soul. That's who we are. That's our greatness. So let me tell you what's been going on in these last 6 months at Social Security. Notwithstanding the biggest increase in productivity and a turnaround, as I said, in all but one area of service delivery in that agency, Donald Trump unleashed the dogs on Social Security, led by Elon Musk, dismantler and destroyer in chief. And in a shorter period of time, they have ushered more people out of the agency through either mass firings of whole offices or paying them your money to leave. If you were retirement eligible, they'd pay you for the whole year as long as you left right now. Don't let the door hit your backside on the way out and get out. So they have pushed this agency that was already struggling under a all-time high number of customers, beneficiary customers, and a 50-year low in staffing. They have cut that even worse. Keisha, could you put up that slide for everybody to see? This is a slide I hope you can't forget once you've seen it. The blue graphs represent the growing numbers of beneficiaries, us baby boomers. And they saw us coming from when our parents came home from World War II and started having large families, right? Every 75 years, Congress makes Social Security operates on a 75-year forecast. How many of you operate on a 75-year forecast? Everybody? Yeah, I don't operate on a 75-year forecast either. But Congress periodically will adjust that 75-year forecast. And back in 1983, they made an adjustment to run up a big surplus to cover the retirement years of us baby boomers. That's been depleted faster than we thought. And we can come back to that maybe in Q&A and unpack that a little more. But they all knew these numbers were coming. But those blue graphs represent we the people, the beneficiary customers. But look at that red line. That red line is staffing at Social Security. And around about 2012, they started level funding Social Security. They always love to run home to their constituents and say that they'll never cut Social Security. But actually, last year, House Republicans, the House Appropriations Committee, actually voted for a $452 million cut to customer service that you already paid for, just like you paid for your benefits. And Congresswoman, did you object to that at all? Yeah, nobody did. So this line, when you see it taking a huge dip right here, that's Elon Musk and the Doge boys. And from what I've read, they're all boys up there. Taking your personal data, dismantling your agency, telling you can no longer do things online or on the phone. You have to go into a Social Security office, which, oh, by the way, they're also cutting and reducing staffing in. You see, what they're trying to do is to turn enough of us against the most popular program in America. They're trying to turn enough of us against it by destroying its reputation and destroying its customer service. They need to wreck it in the eyes of enough Americans so then they can rob it. Because unlike the Defense Department, Social Security actually runs a surplus, a $2.6 trillion surplus. It is a pay-as-you-go program. Last year, Americans working paid in $1.3 trillion. We paid the beneficiaries who had earned their benefits their whole lives $1.4 trillion. And the difference, as Congress had intended back in 1983, comes out of that surplus. And it's that surplus. When you read the scary headlines that say Social Security going totally bankrupt by 2033 when an asteroid hits, it's not really accurate. It gets a lot of people to read it because it's a scary headline. They're talking about that surplus, not the corpus of the program. You see? So we can come back to that later. Let me run through quickly a few of the big lies, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. Okay, Amanda? Yep. All right. So let's knock down some of the easy ones first. There is a zombie apocalypse. 12 million dead people roaming the earth with Social Security checks spewing out of their cadaverous pockets. And when Elon Musk said that some of them were as much as 150 years old, the liar in chief would not be outdone, so he told your Congress, actually, some of them are 300 years old. He did. Did you see that? He said some of them are 300 years old. And then he went down to to break down. You got to laugh because it hurts too hard to cry. And then he started breaking down the age cohorts. Could you imagine somebody that was 300 years, they would have been here for the founding of Jamestown in the Commonwealth. So there is no zombie apocalypse. It doesn't happen. The latest Inspector General report, before they locked off the head of the Inspector Generals all through the federal government, this one must have already been in motion. So that was published on March 23rd. And actually, there are about 7,000 people that continue to get a check after they die. It's largely unavoidable because some people pass away in the same week that they're in the pay cycle to have the direct deposit, and we get that back in probate. And another reason you can tell your brother-in-law, who only watches the Fox, we automatically, Social Security is required by Congress to keep a horrible name, but hey, Congress named it, not me, the master death file. So whenever, like vital records for the Commonwealth of Virginia or vital records in Maryland, by the way, I want to compliment Brenda Clark for coming here. Stand up and show them. She is sporting a very vintage Women for O'Malley Brown pink t-shirt. Thank you, Brenda. A veteran of that winning campaign. But we get automatically alerted whenever there's a death certificate registered. And we also get automatically alerted when somebody over, I think, the age of 75, that they suddenly stop billing Medicare. Could be a miracle. We get automatically alerted. So that doesn't happen. It's false. It does not happen. Second big lie. Illegal immigrants. You know, all of the tens of millions that Joe Biden and the blue conspiracy brought here to maintain power forever and ever, amen. Those illegal immigrants are milking Social Security's dry. They get benefits right away as soon as they come here. Totally false. Illegal immigrants, so-called, undocumented human beings, working hard here, contributing to our economy, doing a lot of jobs, they are prohibited from ever receiving Social Security benefits. And if they're working here out of status, they can't even earn credit to become insured. But they contribute $26 billion a year to all of the rest of us, of which they will never see a dime. Third big lie. Social Security is bloated, inefficient. The hiring ratchet only goes one way, and that's to hire more and more and more. And that's not true, and that's the graph that tells you that. Here's one other fun factoid. Social Security is probably, I'm going to say without a doubt, because nobody else has come back on me with this, and I've been saying it long enough, including in front of congressional committees. You will not find a more efficient insurance company than Social Security.
For sure.
When Social Security operated with a high level of customer service, you know what its overhead was? 1.2% compared to benefits paid. 1.2%. It's now been reduced down to about 0.77 of 1% with all of the people they've been shoving out. I think they've gotten rid of 7,000 people so far. It's a little bit like the Hermit Kingdom. They fudge the numbers and they don't reveal the numbers, so it's hard to say. But where was I going with that? So back when they operated, your Social Security Administration, with a high level of customer service, and keep in mind the same dollars you paid in your whole life for your benefits are the same dollars that pay for the customer service, comes out of the same pots for the most part. That 1.2% compared to other private insurance companies, 1.2% Social Security, Allstate is 19% overhead. Liberty Mutual, Liberty Bibberty, 23% overhead. So it is the most efficient insurance company in America. And if Congress wanted to, they could restore the customer service staffing, back to that 1.2%, and they could take it entirely from the trust fund, if they wanted to, without adding a single penny to the national deficit or the national debt. And you know what it would advance that 2033 surplus depletion date by? 30 days. 30 days. So why are they doing this? Not about efficiency. It's not about reducing waste. It's not about keeping, oh, here's another big lie, waste, fraud, and abuse, and improper payments. After they did away with the inspector generals all across the United States, whose job it is to police against those things, and then at Social Security, once they put their own puppet commissioner in charge, because the first one was a career person who refused to violate the Privacy Act and open up your personal data to these young men up there. So she quit on principle. Michelle King. Then they put their own puppet guy in charge, who was like a GS-14, who had been put on administrative leave pending investigation into whether he illegally shared the Doge data with the Doge people, which he admitted to doing on a screen on LinkedIn anyway. So at the end of that long weekend, they put him in charge, and one of the first things he did was to do away with it. He was kind of a fraud guy. That's funny. That's a double meaning. His job in the agency was to do data analytics and that's fraud. So he did away with a division called the Office of Analytics, Oversight and Review, OARE. And their job was to police against and do the deep dive to figure out what's causing the overpayments, what's causing the underpayments, what can we do to fix it. He totally did away with the whole division, tore it up, put it in different places. You know, it's like flying monkeys, you know, tearing up the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz. So the incidence of improper payments, that is combination of fraud and also overpayments, underpayments, is less than 0.3%. Elon Musk on TV said, 40% of the calls to the 800 number are fraudsters that are stealing your direct deposits. They do it all day and all night. I've seen it myself, he said. And nobody does anything about it. Well, the truth is, it's actually 0.0003 in terms of successful fraud attempts. It's not 40%. And Social Security actually has a very, very low incidence of waste, fraud, or abuse in the agency. So I've been prattling on long enough. Let's open it up for a little bit of Q&A. That's a little more fun. Can we do that, Amanda? Good to go now?
Absolutely.
Well, let me say one more thing in the call to action, because we can be very angry, but I don't find anger to be a useful emotion. We need to call our representatives. Right now, I mean, I truly believe. Let me wrap up with this. We've seen the massive reductions in staffing at the IT department. It's somewhere around 35 to 40% of their IT department was done away with in the last 90 days. That's the IT department that makes sure that the 3,000 applications that ride on top of that green screen, COBOL-based personal data, all of our earnings since our first summer job. So they've ushered out that many staff. Now you're seeing started as intermittent interruptions in some of those applications, like the MySSA account. Some of you have MySSA accounts. You've seen how that's increasingly, you can't get in on that. I was with a number of people that represent people with disabilities over the course of this last week. They have an application they use to upload documents to get their hearing date scheduled, and that was down for 3 out of 5 days last week. So you're going to see more intermittent interruptions like that, and ultimately, it's happened twice when I was there, these things can cascade into a total shutdown of the agency. Fortunately for us, when that happened twice, and we weren't trying to get people to quit or paying them your money to quit, we were able to get it back up. Once it happened on a Thursday, another time on a Friday, we were able to get it back up by a Monday. But ultimately, this Jenga tower, given all the logs they pulled out of the bottom of it, will interrupt benefits for some period of time. I don't know when that is. Most of the people whose opinions I relied on when I was in the agency and who have since left the agency all tell me that they believe we're kind of overdue for something like that. When that happens, this administration is going to get a popular blowback, the likes of which they have yet to experience. 73 million people. So as we go to this, our Q&A, let me give you a little hopeful story. I just had my wife and I, our family, received into this world, into this wonderful experiment called the United States of America, our very first grandchild. Yeah. He's adorable, he's beautiful, he's handsome, he's intelligent, he's smart, and he will be a Democrat. And when I was holding him, I was at my daughter and son-in-law's place and getting my special time. The mail came, and my son-in-law says, "Look, to the parents of a letter from Social Security." And I knew he'd do that, like 3.5 million times a year from the office on Wabash Avenue, 5900 block in Baltimore. But I'd never been on that side of it. And you know, to watch them open that and to see their freshly arrived baby's name and number, it wasn't just a card. And it wasn't just an envelope. It said, this baby matters to his country. And his country matters to this baby. And nobody's going to take it from us. Okay, fun times. Q&A, yes, sir.
I was surprised.
Here, I'm going to be the mic wrangler in the center row.
Yes, sir. I was surprised when I had my first small business that there's a limit to the amount of money that you can tax Social Security. And as a rich airline pilot, why am I not paying more into Social Security?
Wow. You're a rich airline pilot? Yeah, thank you for that. Most of us don't make $170,000 in the course of a year, so most of us wouldn't even think about this. I think the median income in this part of our country is roughly about $91,000. So let's say that you're a family of two that makes together $170,000 a year. Well, you will pay $10,000 into Social Security on that $170,000. If you are a single millionaire who makes $170 million a year, you will pay that same $10,000 into Social Security. And the reason is Social Security, the FICA, only applies to the first $170,000 that any of us makes. So when we look at the challenges facing Social Security for the long term, the reason that surplus is being depleted sooner than they thought in 1983 is because so many other tax changes happened in the remaining 6 years of President Reagan, were made to happen by President Reagan, that concentrated increased earnings for the next 40 years in the hands of the top 6% of our population, instead of what had been a more kind of even spread across every quintile of American earnings. So they thought that they were capturing 90% of increased dollars for the next 40 years, and instead they captured 80% in that where they set it. And it does go up every year, it's the COLA. So that's why every year there is a bill that says, hey, when people reach $400,000, they should start paying, FICA into Social Security again. Some have said $250,000. If those bills continue to get introduced, we should all take a little bit of heart in the fact that Nobody's introduced a bill to cut benefits since I think one congressman back in 2012 or 16 or something, a Republican. So 80% of people believe it should be strengthened and made better. And when most people come to understand that disparity between what wealthy people pay and, another way to think about it is, I've read this someplace, that a CEO who makes whatever, $17 million stops paying in the first week after the new year. The janitor that works in his building pays all the way through the year. So when most Americans hear that, they say that isn't fair. Let's fix that. So I'm hopeful and optimistic one day we will. Yes, in the back, the chair of the Veterans Caucus.
Yes.
Let me get my mic to you as I
I
wrap
don't
it.
need that. I'm a retired Master Chief. I can say So my mother used to complain every time a Republican Congress would take money from the trust fund. To your knowledge, how many times have we replaced that money in the trust fund that a Congress has taken?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Maybe I should put this on the website too. It is largely thought that, and frequently said, that presidents or Congress had in the past raided the trust fund and taken money out of it. In fact, I've heard it repeated several times when I found myself doing more town halls as the former commissioner than I ever did as the incumbent commissioner. People would say, didn't George Bush finance the Iraq War out of the Social Security Trust Fund? That has never happened. That is not true. Another one that we've heard is that Congress people, whether real live ones or cardboard ones, don't pay into Social Security. Actually, they all do. That's another method. But let me tell you where the kernel of truth is in that. That surplus that Social Security has right now, the 2.6, that I think they have their eyes on and that they want to get their hands on for some reason, is required by law to be invested in U.S. Treasury bonds. So whether Social Security is investing in those bonds or whether the rich airline pilot is investing in those bonds, that is money that you give to the United States, backed up by the full faith and credit of the United States, which they're also kicking the shit out of. So in a sense, in a very real sense, Social Security actually lends money, all of that surplus, to the federal government. And when in any given year, as these years they anticipated they would, they need to draw some of it down in order to cover this demographic bulge of the baby boomers, it's there. And they redeem those bonds. So it is true that Social Security lends money to them, but it's not true that our dollars were stolen from us and put into the Iraq War without our permission. I mean, the Iraq War was done without our permission, but the dollars weren't taken. Was that clear? Yeah, okay. All right. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
We were also joined by Ty Champion, who was here from the Young Democrats, who I should have mentioned. So Ty, you got a smattering of applause. Now, big round of applause. Clip the first one from the video.
Thank you for coming.
My honor.
Yeah. I'm wondering about, I have always thought that the taxes we pay on Social Security goes back into Social Security, and that will help it last longer,
True.
right?
To those of you that pay any. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So shouldn't we encourage our Congress members to continue and keeping the tax on Social Security? You know, they're always saying, well, we're going to get rid of taxes on the middle class, so we're going to take away the tax on Social Security. Shouldn't we keep the tax on Social Security?
Yeah, well, the policy we've heard Donald Trump say falsely that he did away with any taxes on Social Security.
Right.
That's not true, but he did create a deduction for seniors that reduces, for many seniors, their tax liability. So it's kind of a roundabout thing, for a temporary period of time. But that also has the effect of reducing the amount of dollars that used to go into Social Security. I forget what the break point is. I think about half of us pay, if we're drawing Social Security, about half of us pay taxes on those benefits, half of us pay no taxes on those.
Federal income.
Federal, right.
Federal, right.
Are you an accountant?
I want to be.
Yeah, so, they've got to replace it from somewhere. Look, it's very unpopular. A lot of Americans feel that since they earn the benefit, why am I being double taxed on it? I was kind of taxed when I put it into the end. So it's wildly unpopular, the whole notion of it. But you are right that it further depletes the trust fund when if they were in fact to do away with it. What he has said in the past is that he would like to do away with the payroll taxes altogether. A lot of super wealthy people and corporate guys and men and women really hate the fact that they pay half of FICA for their employees. So they've long wanted to get out of it. But what makes this a stable system is the pay-go nature of it. The same dollars that go in a given year are the dollars that get paid out to beneficiaries. So, but you're right, yes.
Well, I'm a retired teacher and I don't make, I've been retired for a long time, I'm 75. And during COVID, when we got the $1,000 benefit, I just gave it to the food bank because I really didn't need it. I wish they would have given it to people who needed it more.
Big round of applause.
So, I don't know, to me, I would rather have that be taxed on that and have it go back into Social Security so that the next generation will also have Social Security, because I have a son who's, 50 years old and I'd like to see him have Social Security and his children possibly. So I'm just wondering in general if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or you don't have a general answer for that.
Yeah, well, I think all of the sentiments he just articulated is what the majority of Americans believe, which is they want to see Social Security there, not just for themselves,
Right.
but for their children and their grandchildren. There are a number of levers, if you will, that we could pull as a free-thinking people with our representatives that would restore that long-term, fiscal health. Policymakers could, if they wanted to, decide that they aren't going to bring anything into the Social Security Trust Fund by way of what they've done since at least 1983, taxing benefits for those over a certain amount. They could do away with that altogether and replace those dollars that costs with asking people that make more than $400,000 to keep putting in. And they'd extend the health of the trust fund for like another 25 or 30 years if they did that. So it's a debate we could have, but we're not having that debate yet. Instead, I think they really want to precipitate an emergency and have it break down so then they can do what they want with it. Did you hear Bessent, the Treasury Secretary? Yeah, there were one good thing. Let's say one good thing. The baby bonds that were in the big, beautiful Bankrupting America Act. Bessent said, and this is where they set aside $1,000 that you have to invest in the stock market, at birth for every child, if you apply. And I guess if they approve that you're the right sort of person that should have been born in the United States of America. But Bessent said that's a backdoor. He said this. He said out loud what they were already thinking. He said, this is a backdoor way to privatize Social Security. So, whoops, there it is. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Georgia, and I am from Virginia Beach. And you had said something about call to action. I know you said call the representatives. However, since I'm a person that I strongly believe in ethics, integrity, and principles, I I am extremely concerned about all the things that have been going on in Washington, D.C. that I strongly feel are illegal acts. So what I'm interested in is how we can come together and somehow get these people prosecuted and get them all locked in jail. Is there a plan for us to get that done? Because I think sometimes we're just way too nice as Democrats. So could we get a little tougher? And then I can tell you, the people here in the room, we don't mind standing up. We don't mind fighting. And people who know me know that to be a fact. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's super frustrating, isn't it? I mean, one wonders when historians go back and they unpack, you know, what all of us saw, what the whole world saw, while on January 6th. They'll really want to know, why wasn't he prosecuted? At least, you know, if not when he walked off the inaugural. So he didn't come to the inauguration, did he? At least, if he wasn't prosecuted then, well, shouldn't he be prosecuted at least like a week after Merrick Garland got confirmed? Could you imagine if President Obama had rallied a friendly crowd of his supporters?
They tried to lock him up for a tan suit. So
There would have been, I mean, there would have been a perp walk. You know that. Anyway, I share your frustration. Right now they've done away with all. They wiped out all of the U.S. attorneys right away. I mean, there was no slowness about them. Whatever else you might say about Trump too. If Trump won, I think we were protected. I mean, we were in part, you know, what we were protected by their ineptitude. Yeah. And this time they saw what had happened, and obviously people looked at the dismantling of the Weimar Republic in Germany, 1932, 34, whenever it was. Historian will correct my date. And they've just gone with a blitzkrieg, you know, speed. It's all, and doing away with all the prosecutors. I will say this, though. There are state kidnapping laws. And so I'm hopeful that in the flexibility of this United States, that there will be someone at the state level who, when people come with masks in the middle of the night to grab people off of our streets, shave their head, shove them on a plane, and ship them off to an American concentration camp in El Salvador, that some local prosecutor will file state kidnapping charges. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Suzanne Richmond, and I'm actually running for Commonwealth's Attorney in Virginia Beach. There is a statute in Virginia, and it's a felony to cover your face with a mask. The intent portion of it, because I've spoken to other prosecutors, and in Charlottesville, the ICE agents who went into a courthouse and they're grabbing people after hearings, they're picking up people at church. But with COVID, and more people feel like it's okay to cover their face, but I have asked prosecutors, is anyone going to, I'm not in a position to be able to do that right now because I'm not elected yet, but are people going to start charging them? Because there's an exception, and I've asked people, I'm calling on people in the General Assembly in Virginia to pass legislation. There's an exception for law enforcement in the statute, but these people aren't identifying themselves. They're not showing a badge. They have their face fully covered. And I do think Commonwealth's attorneys throughout Virginia need to start prosecuting them. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I guess I don't so much just have a question, but I'm asking people to look at that legislation, and I'm asking prosecutors to act on it.
Cool. Tell us your full name again.
Suzanne Richmond.
And when's the election?
November. Let's go! Vote! November 4th. Vote, vote, vote.
Others? Yes, sir. And you're Navy.
I am Navy, 30 years.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm a little concerned, and I want to hear your take on the jobs. The jobs report came out yesterday. And the person who pulls all that together and is the spokesman for that, the head of that department, was fired.
BLS.
And-
Labor statistics.
Yes. And so the future of having statistics that you can rely on is at risk, number one. Number two, those job numbers are going down according to what the forecasts were. Okay, with the economy the way it is and the Trump administration policies, with tariffs and all that business, I don't see a healthy job market in the United States for a while. But that's me. I want to have your thoughts on it because those people who work pay into Social Security and add to the money that Social Security beneficiaries get. How is that going to impact the future, especially if you have numbers that you cannot rely on?
Right. A couple things packed in there. It is true that when the economy is doing better and when earnings are going up across all of America instead of just for the top 6% wealthiest people, that Social Security does better. Evidence of that was the trustees' report when I had the honor to serve you as commissioner, when they actually pushed off that depletion date in the surplus from 2034 to 2035 because of increased earnings and more dollars, to your point, coming back into Social Security for more people working and wages going up. And yes, part of that was inflation, but when people are earning across every quintile, it's better. The bigger part of your question, I think, is this. It's really hard for the democracy to make intelligent decisions in the absence of fact and truth. And we have never had so much, access to real-time data than we do right now. Kisa, I gave you the entire slide deck. I don't know if you have the other slides, or we just loaded that one, and you don't have to. But I'll tell you, when I was at Social Security, I was asked by Senator Cassidy, can you show us the trend over the last 7 years of these service delivery timeliness things, not only the 1-800 number, the initial disabilities, ALJ hearings, time to decision. Can you show us that over the last 7 years and real time on a month to year basis? I said, yes. He said, how quickly can you actually? I said 60 days. Even though I hadn't been in the agency yet, I knew these cats from studying them kept a lot of data. They are really good at they have a culture of keeping data. And so within 60 days, in a leading example of openness and transparency, we showed people the good, the bad, the ugly, the things that were still going in the wrong direction, the things that were starting to go in a better direction. But almost all of that's been taken down from the Social Security database, from the website. And what they do put up appears to be manipulated. And don't just believe me. Mike Astor, George Bush's former commissioner of Social Security, said in a recent panel 2 weeks ago that none of those numbers make any sense and that they don't comport with any reality that he's hearing from people and their experience with Social Security. So back to your point. It's clear from the firing of the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics when the Supreme Leader, Donald Trump, did not like the reality, and he fired her. Was it her or him? Her. He fired her. The message that sent to everybody was, if you don't fudge the numbers, to make the supreme leader look good, you will be fired. It's kind of like Celebrity Apprentice, except the national interest is at stake here. So at Social Security, we've already seen them fudging the numbers, changing definitions, playing with denominators, and we've also seen them take over that trusted brand, the brand that they're kicking the crap out of with big lies, and using it as a propaganda tool. How many of you got those emails, if you had my SSA accounts, that talked about the wonderful benefits of the big, beautiful bankruptcy bill? Yeah, it was from Social Security. It was an official communications with a purely political message, much of it misleading and untrue, which they admitted in hindsight. So they're taking, everything's about the authoritarian leader taking control of your government of, by, and for the people and using it as a propaganda tool. So I don't think she will be the last person. You see him trying to force the Fed chair out as well, all of which undermines not only full faith and credit, but also our reputation in the world, which is also suffering.
So we can survive this, I hope.
I hope we can survive it. I think we can. I choose to believe we can. We've been through worse times, not for 100 years, but, most democracies commit suicide. They're not defeated. And we seem to have a fentanyl addiction with fascism, the fact that we've returned to it a second time. So this is a time to get up for greatness. I remember, I grew up, my dad wasn't Navy, but he was Army Air Corps before there was an Air Force. He flew 33 missions. Oh, yeah? He flew 33 missions over Japan in a B-24 Liberator. Yours was in which one?
He was in England during the war.
Oh, in England during the war. So I remember looking at those pictures when I was growing up in our house. I mean, the picture of him and his bomber group, or crew rather, and thinking, wow, I wonder if I'll ever be able to make such a difference in the life of my country, to live at a time when you're so needed. Well, guess what? We got our wish. We've never been more needed. So in times like these, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German theologian and leader, he said there's three things in these times, in times like these, for a moral person to do. One is to pray. Another is to act. And the third is to wait patiently for God's time. So yes, I think we'll come through. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. How are we doing okay on time, by the way? We're going to take two more. Okay.
So my daughter lives with Social Security disability. She works, and she got a letter soon after Doge got involved with her, saying that she was going to be thrown off disability. She'd earned 2 months, one month until July 2022. We challenged it. She's back on the record. She's giving her monthly checks every week to the Social Security office to be filed through them to make sure that they get them. My concern is she's going to be dropped again. And she lives with mental health disorders. The cost of her medicine is really the fear that I have.
Yeah, and then if she's off disability, she loses her health insurance.
Yes.
Right.
So it's a health plan.
Right. We haven't talked about Medicaid. Medicaid's 89 million of us are on Medicaid, and about, I think, 1 out of every 4 stands to lose their Medicaid. Yeah, on the disability stuff, she's got to be super, super careful. I don't know if you caught the date. She was told she was off earlier this year, like around January, February.
I think she got the letter in February.
But
it was July
1 month in
July 2022.
See, like a year before? When an agency is as depleted as that, it takes them longer to catch up with, anomalies, mistakes, calling her right away and saying, hey, you went over. It's a cliff, though, too. You got to be very mindful of it. Oh, you got the other slides up, huh? Okay. All right. Another question? You have a comment? Is it a good one?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Welcome to the 2nd Congressional District. I am the 2nd Congressional District Chair for the Democratic guess who's running against Jen Kiggans? Michael Williamson. And I want to invite you back in January, but before then, 2027, and you won't have a cardboard cutout. You have a real live person who will represent us like they should in Congress. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for running. Okay.
Showed up.
I consider it a continuing sign of God's grace. We're going to go to you. You're going to be the last one. Continuing sign of God's grace in this earth. The good people run for office today. Before we go to our final question, let me click through these since Kisa got them on. This is productivity measured over the years. And yes, they keep track of this and they audit this. And what that shows is last year was the biggest increase in productivity in Social Security in the last, since whenever, 2000, what does that say? 2013. Next one. No? This is something they no longer post either. These are the catchment areas of Social Security. These are the Social Security field offices, 1,211 of them that have all now been chainsawed down to fewer staff than you'll ever find. In your area of Hampton Roads, this is not my first time here. I came down here last year and reported with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Is that their? Yeah. He said, why are you down here? I said, because you have 5 of the most stressed field offices in all of America. The 40 most stressed field offices are here. Go to one sometime. You will see like 12 windows and like 3 people. You know, so that's what's happening. We used to do this customer service satisfaction. This is the aggregate one, and it was real time, and we would post it, and we had it, you know, but they unplugged that, and they no longer show that. The colors are the international colors, madam. Thank you for asking. The international colors of good to bad, which is the darker green, the higher the customer satisfaction. The redder, the more dissatisfied people are. Next one. This is the average speed to answer the 1-800 number. You can see the peak there around last December. It was 42, and that is one I told you about before. We got it down to 12.8 minutes, but see it going in the wrong direction? Yeah. Thank Donald Trump, Doge, and all the people that they've cut there. Next one. This is retiree and survivor health timeliness. We try to get you into pay. Our goal was to get you into pay status within 2 weeks after you apply. And that was the 7-year trend, as you can tell. Hadn't been good as they lost more and more staff. Next one. And of course, the 1 year they got it up to 87%, which is the first time they'd hit that in many years. Next one. This is, and that, you see it taking a nosedive? That's the same thing. But that nosedive is brought to you by, guess who? Understand? And the people who choose to dismantle your government. Next one. This looks like a climate change map, not a climate change map. This is the time it takes in the state disability determination offices to make that initial disability determination. In Virginia, this map's a little dated, but it's only gotten worse. So this is 228 days in Virginia. In Maryland, it was 359 days. And if you need to appeal from there, you go back to the same office and get another year. Next one. This was the backlog. You can see where with some policy changes, for the first time in 10 years, they started getting that to head in a better direction. The current commissioner takes total credit for that right now. Next one. This was a really good news. This is the ALJ hearings. The largest adjudicatory body in the free world are the administrative law judges at your Social Security Administration. And the time for a decision was 405 days when I started working with them. They got it down to 277, which was a 25-year best. That's now going in the wrong direction, not as dramatically as some of the other ones because of the nature of the thing. Next one. That's it? Okay, that's enough. Next, you get the sense, right? I show you those for this reason. It's possible to make your federal government work. It actually can work. You know? Esther, you get the final word. I hope it's an insightful and enlightening and inspiring question.
That'll depend on you. As the former commissioner of the Agency of Social Security, we have we're looking for some legal advice from you. That probably scares you a little bit.
It does.
It's a two-part
recovering lawyer.
It's a two-part question. Has the administration already broken some laws or statutes that you would advise us to take action regarding? And if not, because you said you have a website, would you publish that in the future so that we might use your expertise to affect the changes that need to take place?
Yeah, thank you for that question. There's a lot of things they've done that are illegal. I mean, the violation of and there are a number of firms that are looking at this and looking at class actions. Some of the unions filed, and initially there was a federal judge in Maryland ordered DOJ to get the hell out of the database. Whatever they exported, put back in, leave it alone, sort of thing. And then she got appealed, and I think the Supreme Court didn't even have the guts to write a decision before reversing her. There was a great dissent that was written by yes, thank you. So there are a lot of illegal things they're doing, and a number of firms are looking at the possibilities of class actions. So the violations of the Privacy Act with your data is certainly one of them. Another one is, it is a felony to intentionally to falsify a federal record, including a Social Security record. And the Doge boys decided to declare thousands of people dead who were very much alive. And the puppet commissioner at the time bragged about that and said, yes, for people who we don't think should be in the country, we're going to terminate their financial lives. He actually said that. Each one of those was a felony. They have said that they were all, you know how this goes, right? They were all, repeat violent offenders, serial murderers, and all of that stuff. Turns out one of them was a 14-year-old girl born here. So I don't know exactly what their criteria is. They admitted to doing that to several thousand people. That too could be a class action. And not to mention all of the illegal firings. But I think the largest class action that we're going to have is when they, despite warnings from people inside, and there are many who left, who told them, you're going to break it and interrupt benefits. When there's a benefit interruption, that'll be a pretty apparent damage. So stay tuned. They have zero regard for the law, zero regard for regulations, and zero regard for the Constitution, which he started to shred the second his hand came down, and the other one came off the Bible, which might have been. He didn't have a Bible? Okay, well, there you go. Well, if he did, he was probably holding it the wrong way up. All right. I didn't know he didn't touch it. Nobody told me that. You can tell I couldn't bear to watch. All right, well, look, don't give up. Your country's never needed you more, and thanks for coming out.
I'm sure it sounds like some of you are familiar with the Bible. Faith without works is dead. And say a prayer and take action. And you being here today is that works. So thank you all for being here. We do have to clear out. We only have the space for a few more minutes. But thank you all, and we will see you next time.